And what's happening, guys? Welcome along. It is 4:20, so it's 4:20 news. It's actually 4:22, so just in case you want to be up to date in your time, apologies. Typical late stoner fashion, but nonetheless, we're here. And so are ye, beautiful people. We see Monsieur Fudge out there. We have John Finnegan. What's happening? Monsieur Fudge saying, "Hubbly bubbly Wednesday, peeps." I almost thought it was Monday actually because of the long weekend. Almost typed that one into the description there a few minutes ago, but yeah, we corrected ourselves, so we did. Who else is out there? We have Peter Kelly. What's happening, Peter? What's going down? Hope you're well. We have Mark Andrew Morgan. What's going on, Mark? Who else is out there? We have DB Woodcraft. What's going on, DB? Hope you're well. DB, give you a heads up. I just got confirmation that the parcel has arrived. So we have, yeah, we've received your prize for the raffle. So much appreciated there. I haven't gone and picked it up yet myself, but I shall be doing that after the show. So just to give you the heads up there, that has touched down. David McNally, what's going on, David? Shawn Michaels out there as well. What's going on? He's saying hello, Martin, and everyone smoke or vape 'em up. What Willie? What's going on? What Willie? Irish Hemp Harvest is out there as well. What's happening, Irish Hemp Harvest? R420 supplies. What's going down, R420? R420 saying, evening all. Hope Wednesday is being good to everyone. And Shy Son is out there as well. Owls, Fiends and Bjors. John Finnegan was saying, feckin' Stone American Con. And of course, man, yeah, that's it. Like, we're always a minute or two late. Actually, had to run downstairs and get me hat and my bong. Like, that's how unprepared I was for today's 420 news. But we got there. Like, it only took me 2 minutes. Definitely Peter Kelly saying, let's hit that like button, guys. So do it early, hit that subscribe there as well, and share it out as well if you haven't already done so. But going by all these names here, all familiar to the show, so I'd imagine you're all well subscribed by now. John Finnegan, leave me alone, man. Yeah, I'm a stoner and proud. But Dave McNally as well says, went camping last weekend, tried to smoke a quarter, couldn't manage an eight. You got that strong stuff, so David. Nice, happy days, man. Just not a bad complaint to have. It would have been worse if you managed to smoke the whole quarter and you didn't even get a buzz off it, you know. That would have been a much worse complaint. So what you have right there, man, is a good complaint. Podge, what's going on, Podge? What up, everyone? Hopes we are all well. Yes, certainly I'm doing well here anyway, and it seems like everybody in the comments is doing good as well. Even David there, who's got an 8 left after his camping trip at the weekend. Mustawis is out there as well saying, alright, the Podge. And John O'Regan, what's going on, John? Says, yo, Martin, how's the crack? The crack's mighty, John, as always, definitely. It's 420, so we're going to blaze one up. And we're doing so again, courtesy of Thank you, Shannon. What's happening? Thank you, Shannon, if you're out there, man. Nice one again for hooking us up. Thank you, Shannon was in touch there yesterday again, so gonna meet up with either himself or one of his workers later on to taste some of the wares that are there at the moment. Apparently there's a little bit of hash going there as well, so legend. And if anybody's looking to add Thank you, Shannon up, guys, I believe he's only just looking after people in the Cork area. I don't think he's sending any post at the moment yet, so but maybe if there's enough demand there for it, the dude might take up postal orders. But if you want to add him up, hit up King Crop 420 over on Snapchat. So I got the okay a while ago to give him a proper shout out. So if you want to add up Danka Shannon, King Crop 420 over on Snapchat, tell him Martin said howdy, and they'll look after you over there. Again, that's just people in the Cork area, guys. So again, nice one. Thank our King Crop 420, whatever you want to be called. But thank you, Shandon, is what you operated on for longer. But yeah, for hooking us up with today's smoke for the show. So still hitting on that strawberry haze. Look forward to the little bit of hash that we're going to be getting later on as well. So appreciate it. Like a dude who was just listening to the show, it was like, fucking, I like what you're doing, man. You should be getting free weed. And I was like, sweet, man, wouldn't mind it. And he was like, just give us a shout out in the show. Not a bother, right? Not a bother at all. There you go. Consider it done. So that's King Crop, guys, 420 over there on Snapchat. Give the dude an ad. Tell him Martin sent you. And that's if you're in the Cork area and you're looking to be sorted out with some herbal healing. So, civil disobedience at its best here, guys. This is how we do it on 420 News. I hope you're already out there as well. We're going to blaze it on up. Legend. Wow, tasty. Nice one again. Thank you, Shannon, or King Crop 420, guys, if you want to add them up there over on Snapchat anyway. So we drive on, guys, and the first headline I have for you today is the campaign for civil disobedience is continuing. Yes, this is the continuance of the civil disobedience protest for cannabis reform Ireland. Bring Alicia Home, Evelyn Corrigan and Ryan's Right. These are all patients here in Ireland who are being unfairly treated because of cannabis prohibition. So this is the story that was popped up again. I see many of you have already shared it, but this is over on the Sunday World. So for you being there, should be up on screen there now. Boom. Cannabis campaigner, stoned cold conviction, drugs should be legalised. To be honest, I'm just going to move these titles around. I liked the article they actually printed in the paper itself. I got a 2-page spread. So I was quite happy with the coverage of the story. And again, it was a very well written piece by the journalist Alan Sherry. And this plant was just freshly planted there in front of the photographer there on the day. But again, more good coverage for the campaign and highlighting the suffering caused in society by the prohibition of cannabis. Again, in this article, we got coverage for Evelyn Corrigan, we got coverage as well for Alicia Maher, and coverage for the many other patients out there who need access to medical cannabis for chronic pain. So the campaign continues. I've not been arrested yet. I've not been locked up yet, but I don't foresee that happening anytime too soon. They got some nice photos there, in fairness, as well. It was a busy street. The restaurant right next to us as well was packed on the day, in fairness. It was quite funny. But yeah, it was a good interaction there. I really enjoyed the coverage. Sorry, I enjoyed reading the article. It was very well written. So yeah, that's over in the Sunday World anyway, guys, if you want to go over and find that. Pot plant cannabis campaign or stone cold conviction, drugs should be legalised. Give it a share if you haven't already done so already. Make sure it gets covered far and wide, which it has been, in fairness. I've seen this getting this action getting covered as far as Brazil. I was tagged over on Instagram the other day on a Brazilian news outlet, and it was in Brazilian and everything, you know, the whole article up there about a cannabis campaigner in Cork by the name Martin Condon out there planting cannabis plants in a campaign of civil disobedience against the prohibition of cannabis. So it's good to see, you know, it's getting attention, and I hope more people step up and get involved again. You know, let's call their bluff. They can't lock us all up. What they're doing with this law is causing far more harm. And if we all stand up together, we'll get the change we desire, and we won't be criminals then any longer. You know, I definitely foresee a day in the not too distant future where I won't be a criminal any longer for having some cannabis. Like, you know, it's certainly not a pipe dream anymore. It's definitely something that it's going to happen, and it'll happen sooner. With the more people we can get involved in this campaign, and I see a lot of great momentum out there, a lot of more people getting involved. I see lots of cannabis plants popping up around the place, you know, and many more people as well getting involved with the campaign, you know. So as well, I just want to give a shout out again to the boys at the Tidy Buds. I'll pop them up on screen there. So the Tidy Buds getting out there again, cleaning up some of the streets down in West Cork again. So shout out to Podge. What's happening, Podge? See, this is your post up there. Oh, click the wrong link. We'll go into it there again. But there you go. You see 2 big bags of rubbish there again, collected down from the countryside in West Cork. Done by a no-good cannabis consumer, a dirty druggie. he should be locked up, you know, if you were to be asking, what was your man's name there? I can't even remember him now. The guy was having a conversation with the last time on the Adrian Kennedy show. But you know, we're not bad people. Like, we're got full of potential to do lots of good. And it's great to see this getting lots of recognition over there on the Crown subreddit on Reddit. So happy days. Well done, Podge. Good stuff to the guys out there involved in the Tidy Bud squad. Legends, the whole lot of you. Love it. Like, you know, all of this just happened because of just shooting the breeze here on the show, and ye good people then, you know, making something that was just an idea a reality. The Tidy Bud squad was born, and now the countryside, the streets of Ireland are being cleaned up by the people that we want to lock up, you know. Doing better job in the council. Fair play, Podge, legend. So that's the Tidy Bud squad. Just have to give them a bit of recognition as well on today's show. Fucking legends. So we drive on then, guys, and we go to Longford for the next headline, where in County Longford a man has been fined €350 for drugs possession. Cannabis possession mainly. This is the case of Antoine Bren from Roscommon, who pleaded guilty at last week's sitting of Longford District Court to possession of cannabis. Asked by the judge Seamus Hughes why he had been found with such a quantity of cannabis by Gardaí, Mr. Bren said it was a custom he had been heavily dabbling in at the time. I was smoking that much of it at the time, he replied, and Mr. Bren says, however, he was drug-free for 3 months. It doesn't actually say how much he got caught with. No, apologies. It does. He got caught with €100 worth of cannabis. So that's just about 5 grams, €20 a gram. So he got caught with 5 grams of cannabis, and the judge is kind of like, why did you get caught with so much? Like, is the judge some sort of expert here in the consumption of cannabis, that he knows like how much is a lot? Because 5 grams, in fairness, if I was to bring 5 grams to the poker game on a Saturday night, I'd be probably leaving with none, because we just would go through it between us. Like, you know, you get through 5 grams easy enough yourself, like on a heavy night of Call of Duty. But you know what I mean, it's not a lot of cannabis, in fairness. Like 5 grams, you cook it up there into a batch of brownies and consume it between a couple of friends in a night as well. Like, easily done. It's not a lot. But again, it's just the whole stigma. Like, it's the whole, you know, oh, look at you, oh, you've a load of drugs. So he gave him a €350 fine and 3 months to pay it, but he also received a conviction again to his name. But he also has previous convictions, including one for sale and supply going back as far as 2013. So an unfortunate state of affairs where Irish taxpayers' money is being used again to just stigmatise against people whose crime is that they consume cannabis. Well done, like, what a waste of bloody time. Like, this judge, how can you feel good about your day's work? How can you go home, like, and feel good about this? You know, you spoke to a person whose crime was that they consumed a bit of cannabis. Like, there's going to come a day where we're going to look back and see how wrong this was. When we no longer criminalise people like this, and judges like that will have to reflect upon, you know, how they spoke and dealt with people throughout this era of prohibition. But it's horrible. Like, it's not nice to be on the receiving end of it. I was there myself before in court. You know, you up for simple possession of cannabis, and the guy up before me was up for grievous bodily harm, was out to attack the person on a night out. And the judge sympathised with that individual because he was drunk, and he hadn't been in trouble with the law before, but his crime was serious. Like, he committed grievous bodily harm against another individual, and the judge sympathised with him. The guy got like off with, I believe he got a donation to the charity box as well at the time. You know, it was laughable, the whole charade that went down inside in the court. I believe it was like was it a €600 donation? It was a sizable amount of money anyway. And I was up next. This was my second time ever being in court for cannabis. The first time I was inside for it, it got struck out. Got a really nice case, a really nice judge. But the second time I got an absolute plonker of a judge. And he treated me like I was SH1T at the end of his shoe. You know, he just treated me like filth. As I say, the guy up before me for grievous bodily harm, he sympathised with. I was up next. I was thinking like, hey, there's a judge. Like, this guy's got a human side to him. He should be able to hear the sense to my argument that I'm going to put forward. But no, it was like, no, Jesus, how dare you come up and speak to me like this? You use drugs. And like, he didn't call me a filthy drug user, but he might as well have went as far as saying that, because that's how I felt. He just really was very derogatory towards me. And it was horrible to receive that kind of treatment. And where do you go afterwards? Like, where's your victim counselling for being a victim of prohibition? There is none. You know what I mean? There's not. If you go for like counselling, it's like, oh, because you have a drug problem. No, I have a prohibition problem, actually. Where'd you get counselling for a prohibition problem? Anybody know? Prohibition Anonymous. Ridiculous. Like, but yeah, that's my experience in court. Like, and I think it's that this case just kind of reminds me of that as well. That judge, the stigmatic way, the way he spoke towards a person, because, oh, you've a load of cannabis, like, oh, almost implying, like, you know, oh, are you dealing it, like, you know, almost, but not quite. Ridiculous. We drive on to even more ridiculous cases, because we go from Roscommon to Portlaoise, where in Portlaoise, a Laois woman is said to be crippled with anxiety went guilty to possession of cannabis. And this is a woman who's not been named, at least not in this article, but I believe she has been named elsewhere in the media. But she's 46 years of age, and it says here that she may escape a criminal conviction if she brings €300 with her to her next appearance in court. So again, let's just flash back to the case of Evelyn Corrigan, who was up there not too long ago before the courts, the 68-year-old pensioner for glaucoma and all of this. She was dragged before the courts for 4 bloody years, and she talks about the stress and anxiety that caused her. Here we have now another woman, 46 years of age. But again, let's remember that stress is the greatest killer of all, you know. Stress will knock years off a person's life faster than any cigarettes, you know. And don't hold me to that. That's not based on any scientific evidence or anything like that, you know. But you know, stress is a major killer. And here we have another woman again, up before the courts and saying that she was crippled with anxiety because of the possibility of being convicted for possession of cannabis. She was before the courts last Thursday in Portlaoise, where she pleaded guilty to possession of cannabis at her house on the 8th of September, and on 17th of December as well last year. So twice she was caught with cannabis, it seems. And the offending solicitor, Barry Fitzgerald, said that his client was smoking cannabis because she was crippled with anxiety. The court heard that the defendant had no previous convictions, and Judge Catherine Staines adjourned the case until the 14th of October and told the defendant that if she brought €300 with her that day to donate to the court poor box, she would consider striking out the summons against her. So here again we have another patient actually up before the courts for cannabis possession, cannabis consumption, a 46-year-old woman, and again, you know, if she was to go to her doctor, the doctor would probably give her other kind of anxiety medications which don't come without their own costs on the body. Why shouldn't a patient be afforded the option to choose a more natural alternative? Nice one there to Ferg as well, Cork Herbal Products legend, throwing in a bit of support there to the show. Much appreciated, Ferg, for that. But again, like people like Ferg there, you know, Ferg I'm sure would be able to source good quality cannabis and to provide that through his own store, the Cork Herbal Products, to people who are also out there suffering with crippled with anxiety, seeking that natural alternative as opposed to what the doctor will be giving to them. And then instead of our society treating these people with compassion, we afford judges, the authorities, the opportunity to hold these people almost hostage. I don't know, you're extorting them for the court poor box, you know. If you give me €300, I won't convict you. What in the name of God is going on here? This woman has got anxiety. The government are failing to provide a legal avenue for this woman to get access, safe access, to her choice of medicine. You know, absolutely ridiculous. And they were going to extort this woman for 300 quid in order for her not to receive a conviction. Absolutely ridiculous. I would love to have a chat with that woman. You know, if you're out there, if you want to come on the podcast and have a chat with me, I would love to have you on to hear your side, to get your argument out there. And I would love to encourage it to protest this, not to pay the charge, like to tell, like you go challenge this, like this is a human rights grounds at this stage. Like the government have failed, not once but twice, or maybe even 3 times you could say, to provide safe and effective access to medical cannabis to patients out there like this lady, who need it for whatever condition there is that cannabis helps alleviate. But the government have failed, you know, with the Luke Flanagan bill, with the Gino Kenny bill, and with the medical cannabis access program. They're failing on all 3 occasions. They've failed women like this. In all 3 occasions, women like this are seen to be criminals, remain at the hands of the organised crime gangs out there, and are brought before the courts and also mistreated there too. You know, you would think before the courts, you're up in front of a judge and you're like, hey, judge, look, I'm a 46-year-old lady. I use cannabis to help with my stress and anxiety. That the judge should say, like, oh yeah, look, I'm hearing a lot about cannabis and its benefits to people. I'm kind of sick and tired of the government now. Why aren't they going to sort this out? Because this was wasting my time, the court's time, and all of the other kind of civil servants out there whose time is wasted on these issues caused by the silly prohibition, you know. But sadly, I don't think we'll see that day where these judges will speak out. So therefore, again, guys, it's down to us. So once I learn this lady's name, it's going to be another name added to the list of people that we will be engaging in civil disobedience for, because this lady is not a criminal. She is a person failed by the government, a patient who needs access to cannabis to help give better quality of life. So again, you know, get up and stand up, not just for yourself, but for the many patients out there crippled with pain, crippled with anxiety, but most importantly, crippled with, most important to highlight is that they're crippled with fear from being targeted by a government who are going to come out and treat them like criminals and lock them up for what? For wanting a better quality of life? Shame on them. Seriously, like absolutely shame on them. So again, you know, that's the Irish court system there to play. A woman crippled with anxiety, treated like a criminal for help alleviating her condition with cannabis. Shame on them. And we drive on because we've another highlighted failure of prohibition here is where a drug dealer used a locker in a casino to store his cannabis. So this is the case of Aaron Brophy, who's 30 years of age and was living in a hostel at the time, and had nowhere else to store his drugs, which were found by staff who alerted the Gardaí. This was above in the casino at the Funland Casino on O'Connell Street. So again here, you know, you've highlighting how prohibition fails, because like this is a public place. You've cannabis being stored down there. Who knows if this guy was engaged in any other forms of drug dealing, because he does have a colourful past there, it seems, with a number of convictions in the past. But it's ridiculous, you know. You're down there. I know a few people's mum and dads who use these casinos. They go down and use the bloody slot machines and what have you. And you know, this guy's down there storing his cannabis. Next thing comes a rival drug dealer, goes in, tries to get it. You know, let's just say it, like these dudes will come down armed with guns or something. You just don't know like how foolish these people are going to get, or where the violence is going to go. And next year the headline is, you know, a pensioner shot at local casino, caught in the middle of a drug feud. You know, That very easily could be a headline here in Ireland. Given this evidence that we're seeing here, where people are using, what is it, a charging locker? So it's a locker, I don't know, where you charge your phone. You can lock up your phone inside there, put and charge it, I suppose. But people are using it then to store drugs in there then as well. Again, it's the prohibition caused by this. If you were able to go into a legitimate store premises where you could get your cannabis, then unfortunately people like Aaron Brophy, who would be storing it in these public places, putting again, your loved ones who might frequent them, not knowing that it's been used as a place to store drugs, for individuals such as this, it wouldn't happen, it wouldn't be happening. You would support that legitimate outlet rather than go and supporting dudes who are fucking storing the bags of weed in some phone charger locker. Places like Little Collins, again, Cork Herbal Products there, there's a number of them that could be set up overnight if it was legislated for, but unfortunately prohibition puts it in a place where this dude is just storing his drugs in places where your nana granda could get shot up, And I'm saying nana granda because that's the idea of people who have gone into these casinos. They're older generation, probably retired and stuff like that. And it's just unfortunate that that's the case because of prohibition. So we drive on then from drug dealers using lockers and casinos to store their cannabis to Gardaí seizing over €500,000 worth of cannabis. And this was above in a cannabis grow house in County Meath. So this was a tweet that the cops put up there about it. But this was on, which day was this on? No, apologies. On Monday morning, I believe, was it? Not too sure, actually. It's not saying here what day it was. But this was a raid carried out at 8:30 in the morning there earlier in the week. And during the course of the search, the property in Kilmainham Wood, County Meath, there was 76 cannabis plants found and 20 vacuum-packed bags of cannabis herb. So again, like an incredible waste of resources here. A very dangerous position for cops to be put in. And again, a tweet, when I took this snip here, I had 20 replies. Not a single reply was positive to the cops at all. Like every one of them was like, come on, legalise it already, waste of time. You're protecting nobody. There was multiple up there, but this one I thought was worth sharing with yourselves, coming in from Cullum. Saying €117,600 into potential tax income for the state at 21%. He's saying 80 people die a month in the Republic on average from consumption of alcohol. 0 recorded deaths from smoking a joint and sitting on the couch, not bothering anyone, maybe eating some cornflakes, listening to Led Zeppelin. So again, very valid reply there, and it's probably got more likes than the bloody original tweet by the cops at this stage. It's absolutely ridiculous that this game of cat and mouse is continuing, and that's all it is. It's just a game at this stage, like, because these cops know that this isn't ever going to end. There's an assistant commissioner. I'm going to pop him up on screen here now. Assistant Commissioner John O'Driscoll. Here he is, pictured on screen with a big old mean old face on him, in fairness. Like, he could at least smiled for the camera. But no, he's hard on drugs. He's the Assistant Commissioner of the Organised and Serious Crime Services. But he's been around a while. This guy's been around since the 80s or something like that. Served his time. Sorry. I'm going to hydrate there, actually. Ooh. But Assistant John O'Driscoll, jeez. Assistant Commissioner John O'Driscoll of the Organised and Serious Crime Services, he's been around a while. He's got years of experience. He was around in the 80s, but when the Kinahans were just coming around, and he's seen the rise of all of it. He's been through it all. Like, he knows it all. But this is a comment of his then, from his incredible wisdom that he has in all of this. See, this is what he says. And I'll pop it up here. And this is a quote from an article that was published over on the Sunday Mirror, I think, or something like that, as the Irish Mirror. But John O'Driscoll says that, and I'm going to pop it up there again for myself to see, that it is impossible to completely stop the drugs trade, but we are managing it by disrupting criminal groups and denying them the money which is the source of their power. So he's admitting here in this, it is impossible to completely stop the drugs trade. So that they're happy to continue with this silly war on drugs with the streets on the streets of Ireland, and knowing that it's impossible to stop it, knowing that in keeping this prohibition in place, that we're going to empower the organised crime gangs. And again, when I say this is all a game, and it's kind of evident here in this, in how where the game is. It's about money, and budgets and all of this, and this is again continuing the quote from John O'Driscoll. So this was said in part together. I'll pop two of them together. He says it's impossible to completely stop the drugs trade, but we are managing it by disrupting criminal groups and denying them the money which is the source of their power. And he argues that the money is also part of Garda's power, because when resources are restricted, law enforcement is reactionary, but when you have the proper resources, our specialist units can be proactive. And the critical thing about our approach is that every day we are planning strategies in relation to organised crime targets. And I would have no argument against this if it wasn't that the primary focus of John O'Driscoll and his colleagues is that of the drugs trade. It's shameful that that's even included in the serious crimes category. Organised crime, that's how it falls in there, but absolutely ridiculous that the prohibition of drugs is what needs to be tackled in order to stop the problems caused by the illegal drugs trade. You undo it, you make it legal, you regulate it, you put in place quality control, proper education, and proper access to services to people who might fall foul of addiction and drug abuse and whatever else there is, because the drugs are already there. The people who are addicted are already there. The problems caused by the drug abuse, it's already there. So it's, why are we wasting any more money on this war on drugs? Absolutely ridiculous. The overtime for the guards looking at the Kinnins and all of that, went into the multiple millions. That's just one bunch of guards just dealing with one organised crime group, the Kinnin cartel or whatever it is, and there's no end to it. You remove the Kinnin cartel, but there's another one and another one and another one. Do you know, the next one up that they're talking about now at the moment is the Rat Pack. Do you know that this is the Rat Pack where caged killer Brian King Ratt Rattigan, and it says here that he can rely on the support of 8 key associates when he's released from prison this week. So again, that this is the prohibition of drugs in effect. This individual, he was behind bars apparently for 18 years for murdering, and I'm just going to pop up the name of the guy who he killed. Sorry, now I'm just getting the article for myself. He murdered Declan Gavin, and he served 18 years in prison for it. And even while he was behind bars, he was running a heroin smuggling network, if you could believe that. So this isn't, what's not to believe? How hard could it possibly be? If what they're saying here is that in the 18 years that this dude was in prison, that there's 8 loyal mob bosses who were still, 8 main thugs who are still loyal to this dude, coming visiting him, I suppose, on the regular, doing the chores, getting orders for him, or whatever the crack is there, you know what I mean? It's keeping the trade going. And it says here that the people identified by the Gardaí as being loyal to him include one of his close lieutenants from the deadly Crumlin and Drimnagh feud, who's now living in County Laois. So all these people are known and everything. They're out walking around the place. The cops are monitoring them and all of this. But yet, meanwhile, we've the Regency attack. They're doing a great money well spent there and all the overtime, isn't it? Fucking hell. But it says also that others include two brothers who used Rattigan's drugs to swamp the Basin Street area of South Inner City with heroin, and a violent thug with over 100 convictions to his name who has been acting as an enforcer in the South Inner City. So again, even that in itself, like a dude acting as an enforcer, he's got over 100 convictions to his name. And he's out and about the place, walking around the streets. He's a known enforcer, like, the media are just like, oh yeah, this dude's a known enforcer, known to the guards, has 100 convictions. Like, well, why? How's he out and about if he's got 100 convictions? Like, 100 convictions. Like, well, what are the convictions for? Parking fines or what? Like, do you know what I mean? Because if you don't have your bloody TV license, they're going to lock you up. How's this dude not locked up and he's got 100 convictions? Imagine being brought to court 100 times for not paying your TV license. Like, the judge will lock you up for life or something. Throw away the key. But ridiculous. It goes on to say in the article then that despite being in prison for the last 18 years, Rattigan has also had support from associates of evil killer brothers Warren and Jeffrey Dumbrell and Limerick-based gangster Christy Keane. But he is also being left isolated following the murders of his enforcers Anthony Cannon, Gary Bryan and Neil the Highlander Fitzgerald. He also suffered a setback in January of this year when a former enforcer, Mark Pigeon, was caged for hey, I love that one. Mark Pigeon got caged. Hey. And he was caged for 3 years for stabbing a friend over €200 debt. All right, that's not a laughing matter at all. Like, for fuck's sake, like, you should have drowned that pigeon. Just stabbing your buddy over 200 quid, man. You're a fucking, you're just a filthy scumbag, like. It's horrible, like 200 quid, like, and you're stabbing a dude over it, like, and this is a danger again of prohibition, like, you just don't know who you're getting into debt with, like, you really don't, like, you think a dude is your friend, and all of a sudden, like, you owe him 200 quid there for a half ounce of weed or something. The dude comes over to you and he's off his face there and he's smarties or he's fucking skagging or something, withdrawn for something, I don't know, and he just takes it out and you're like, you don't have my 200 quid. Yank, you stab you there, like, better have it next time. I mean, while you're fucking half dead in the floor, like, ridiculous, like, but, yeah, I kind of went off on a tangent there, sorry, Mark Pigeon. Yeah, as I say, like, that's one pigeon who should have been drowned, but Gardaí identified the drug lord's known associates as they prepare a policing plan ahead of his release from prison. Like, they have to actually prepare a policing plan for this individual, like, to monitor this dude. Again, this is more money for us, like, from the taxpayers. Like, why? Because of the bloody empire this dude is building up around this failed prohibition of drugs. Oh, God, like, if there's people out there addicted to heroin, like, they got a health problem, and for them fucking safe and effective access to it, like, give it to them for fucking free, like, if you have to, like, and at least then dudes like this dude won't be able to continue running his empire, like, because, well, how can he make money just selling drugs when the same people who were addicted to those drugs, who he was making his money off of all along, can now go down with their medical card or whatever, like, you don't even need it, like, should he be means tested, like, just go down and, like, come here, I'm addicted there to heroin, like, or whatever, like, and get it for free, like, I'm addicted to crack, I'm addicted to coke, like, whatever it is, like, go down and get it and get therapy, work with professionals, like, again, like, just take away the power from these organised crime gangs. Why are we monitoring them, like, why is these policing plans? It's a game they like playing. And that's it, that's what they like playing, like, the John O'Driscoll, like, he's been there for the years, like, he's seen it, like, he knows we're never going to stop this drug trade, we're never going to do it, but we have to keep on fighting them because it's a game I like playing, like, because he's a bit of a fucking sociopath or a sadistic, egotistical, I don't know, man. Mad lunatics is what they are, like, to continue this with this insanity. And that's what the prohibition of drugs is, it's just insanity. We've not been effective at preventing drug access at all in as it was set out to. All we've done is empowered all these organised crime gangs, failed a bunch of people who are addicted, who've got health problems. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh, sorry. It says here that they pinpointed the associates despite Rattigan claiming he has moved away from his from his old pals and undertaken education courses in prison as he attempts to rebuild his life. Detectives have also established that he has recently applied for a passport and could leave the country. During his time in prison, Rattigan forged close links with drug lord John Gilligan and hitman Shay O'Byrne before his murder by the Kinahan cartel in Tala on March 13, 2009. One theory is that he could join Gilligan in Spain's Alicante, and also there's images showing Rattigan with O'Byrne when the pair were inside. And O'Byrne, I suppose, is being said to be over and out with Gilligan at the moment. But it says here that Rattigan has lost a lot of key lieutenants over the years, but he is still a loyal group of supporters who are still involved in serious criminality. And obviously the landscape has changed since he went to prison many years ago, and he won't be on par with organisations such as the Kinahan's cartel. But due to his violent nature and his continued association with major criminals, he will always pose a serious threat. He's still a young man, so he could still try and throw his weight around. He claims to be a changed man, but Gardaí won't be taking any chances when he walks free. You only have to look at someone like John Gilligan to see how quickly serious criminals can immerse themselves in organised crime. So again, you know, like this individual, once he gets out, we could see an escalation of violence on the streets of Ireland, around Ireland, you know, above there in Dublin. If this dude comes out, tries to fight back from maybe territories lost because of the killings of some of these key lieutenants, as they're calling them, you know. I really don't know how these gangs operate. I would love to understand, you know, how these guys operate in the territories that they, and this. But like, I could just, if I'm just looking at Narcos and all these shows, you know, and that's where you take a lot of your input from a lot of these shows, and you apply it to this, and you have to say, like, you know, if these guys are coming in, this guy's getting out of prison now, he's going to want to be coming in making a name for himself, you know, and a lot of the times the way they make a name for themselves is through violence. So again, are we going to see a body count with the release of this dude? Again, the best way we can mitigate the harms of that is end this fucking prohibition. Absolutely ridiculous, like. But there's a big long article there about the release of this dude Rattigan. Anyway, I'm not going to finish off the rest of it because it talks about some of the precautions guards are taking. Again, you know, it's just all a waste of time. Talking about how he ran a €1 million heroin smuggling network from behind bars. Absolutely crazy stuff, like. But that's your Irish taxpayers are paying for through prohibition. Are you happy? Are you happy out there, guys? You know, should we not be putting this money back into our communities rather than locking up people for basically supplying a drug that's wanted by people anyway? You know. But anyway, we drive on from there because we've more failures of prohibition, where in Bessbrook there was a fire broke out at a property in Bessbrook, and when the fire services attended to put it out, they discovered that there was actually a lot of cannabis growing in there. One of the individuals then at the property who was arrested says that he was actually trafficked into the country. This was above in County Armagh. And this was over the weekend, I believe this happened over the weekend. This is the cannabis, they found some big bags of cannabis above there as well at the property. But there was a 48-year-old Vietnamese national, and he's had his bail application adjourned until August 5th for the outcome of an assessment from the Home Office into his entry into Northern Ireland. Gives his name here, Hoi Toi Avo, of no fixed abode, was charged with cultivating cannabis, possession of Class B and possession of Class B with intent to supply, being concerned in the production of Class B and arson at Armagh Magistrates Court in Nordy on Tuesday. And he was charged with arson, interestingly, because I believe they actually set the fire themselves at the property. Again, if you're a slave of the property, like, maybe you just get pissed off, like, you're not happy with how you're being treated, you know, you just had enough, you reach breaking point, and you're like, fuck fuck 'em, I'm going to burn them down. I'm going to burn the property down, and hopefully the authorities will deal with me, or maybe the guys were trying to bloody kill themselves in the fire, who knows, and maybe they were saved. You just don't know the case there, like, but again, it's unfortunate that we find people victims of human trafficking being brought before the courts and treated like criminals. These people are victims, again, victims of the sadistic people like Frank Fian out there, who don't want to engage with any conversation of the harms caused by the prohibition they support. But because this individual, he was trafficked into the country, and as soon as he got into the country, he was straight into the cannabis grow house once he got out of the truck, and never really seen the outside of the farm there. And now, since being caught, is being treated like a criminal, and I think it's just wrong. These organised crime gangs, they have no place in legitimate business. If we legitimise the sale and supply of cannabis, the people who engage in human trafficking, they would have no place in legitimate business at all, because they're fucking scumbags. If you're involved in human trafficking, if you're going to be carrying out modern day slavery, you have to be a scumbag. Like, I can't see it being anything else but that. Because you hear the stuff that happens, like, and I just listened to an incredible podcast there recently with Joe Rogan, with I can't remember the lady's name, but she escaped from North Korea, and you hear about some of the things that happens to the people who engage with these human traffickers. You know, that they're thinking that they're getting away from one life of suffering, but they're just escaping to another life of suffering. Horrible stuff, like, you know. So absolute scumbags, and I hate to think that some of the cannabis that's out there people are buying and enjoying, that's bringing a lot of positivity to people, could be grown by people who are treated in those kind of ways as slaves, and all because of prohibition. So I hope you're happy, Frank Fian, Stephen Donnelly. You've commented in the past on this, like, why the silence now? You know, your silence is really deafening on this subject matter. I'd love to hear their thoughts or opinions as to the continuation of the prohibition of drugs. I know Frank Fian is a staunch supporter of prohibition, but Stephen Donnelly, what's going on? Did you want to have a talk with your buddy Frank and educate him as to what is a proper, effective, health-led approach to drugs? Just an idea, maybe. Get your buddy up to speed. Sad, like. But we drive on from there, guys, as we go from one form of slavery to another case of kidnapping. And this is again back to Alicante, where an Irishman was one of 11 people arrested after a drugs kidnap in Spain. So again, like, you know, as we talked about Spain recently in the 420 news, where the National Party, they're failing to regulate the sale and supply of cannabis. So what's going on then as a result of that is there's this like grey area existing, where a lot of the times it's criminals actually going over there filling the void. A lot of the Irish criminals, a lot of the UK criminals now are finding places in Spain, going to places like Alicante, and they're taking advantage of this kind of grey area, growing the cannabis there and exporting it back. We had a case there coming from Spain again not too long ago, where there was again slaves involved in it. You know, they were Vietnamese, I believe, again, or maybe Chinese. But they were treated as our slaves again in the cannabis grow there in Spain. And it's caused by the government. The government's failure to legislate, to step in and do the right thing, to put the proper regulations in place so that this grey area is no longer grey, that it's proper black and white. You know, put quality assurances in place, regulations, age limits, you know, all of this stuff. Make sure the people are getting employment rights and you know, all of that good stuff that comes with regulation, as opposed to the grey area that they currently exist with over there. But again, here we see an Irishman getting arrested, a part of 11 people who got arrested in Spain after a row broke out between two rival drug gangs. So again, some of the stuff that you might see in the movies or whatever, the TV shows there, where there was a drugs trade going down, apparently, and a bit of a dispute broke out, and it's seen one individual rushing off to the authorities, claiming that his girlfriend was being held hostage. Absolutely ridiculous. Like, it says that the officers established that the couple had acted as intermediaries in a cannabis deal, and the woman had gone to an address with the gang that was meant to buy the cannabis, but that gang turned around on the mob selling the drugs and stole the cannabis after beating up the men who were supposed to be selling it. The gang in turn then blamed the woman for setting up the ambush and decided to hold her hostage, as well as demanding a massive amount of money for her release. So the cops then used the woman's phone data to track her and trace her to an address in Elche, which they placed under surveillance. Then after a few hours, they raided the house, rescued the hostage, and arrested 5 men who had been holding her captive. They also recovered 1.5 kilos of cannabis worth around 300,000. It's saying here. I'd imagine that's 30,000 maybe. That's no way. It's worth 3,500, 1.5 kilos. That's definitely a misprint there. It says that the woman and her partner then fingered the gang behind that raid, and cops arrested them in nearby towns after the manhunt. Cops said those arrested were all aged between 29 and 39, and as well as the Irishman, prisoners included suspects from Spain, Romania and Germany. All 11 suspects have now been remanded in custody in Elche on suspicion of drug crimes, and reports in Spain said that one of the suspects is a serious criminal with previous convictions for serious violence. So again, that's the dangers caused by these grey areas, by this failure to regulate a legitimate industry. Come on, like the sale and supply of cannabis, it's been around now for all. It's never gone away. Just put it that way. It's never gone away since it's been around. And it's been around quite a while, like, going back to the early 1900s there, when they put in the prohibition, that they failed to make it go away, and it just spread from there, I don't know when it actually started in Ireland, like when the hash and the cannabis became a thing here in Ireland, like, but once it did, it's just never left. We very much enjoy it. I do very much enjoy it over drink anyway. That's for fucking sure. I'm gonna talk on me vape. Shout out to Swords Buds on this one. But it goes on to say here that the 68-year-old convicted drug dealer whose gang murdered crime reporter Veronica Gare in 1996, John Gilligan, is living in Torrevieja, and that's around 40 minutes south of Elche, and he's currently on bail as part of a probe into the drugs operation there that saw cannabis and pills being sent to Britain and Ireland by post. Excuse me. So again, like, this is all because of the prohibition around the cannabis over there. It still exists. Cannabis is not legal in Spain. There's a grey area. There's lesser punishments, I suppose, for the growing and the possession of it over there than there is in maybe the UK and Ireland. But still, nonetheless, if the government just stepped up and regulated for it, that they could deter a lot of these individuals from coming over there and bringing this danger of violence with them. So we drive on then, guys, to the final headline of today, and I said I'd finish with a positive one. Yes. And kind of semi-positive, depending, you know what I mean? Maybe you might be interested in this, Russell, if you're still out there, buddy. This is for Sativex, a trial to test if cannabis-based mouth spray can treat brain tumours. And this is the oral spray Sativex by the recently sold for $9 billion. That's GW Pharmaceuticals. Yes, GW Pharmaceuticals was sold to Jazz Pharmaceuticals for a whopping $9 billion. But Sativex is just one of the products there in the lineup of GW Pharmaceuticals, and it's now soon to undergo a trial to see if it can help treat brain tumours. And I just thought it was very funny when I came across this article. Is the opening line of it says that Cancer charities and the NHS are preparing to investigate whether a cannabis-based mouth spray can treat brain tumours and help patients to live longer. So cancer charities and the NHS are using a patented product like the Sativex product. And if this is successful, then GW Pharmaceuticals stands to gain a hell of a lot of money, because, what are the cancer charities doing in this? Are they funding it? Is the NHS putting money in this as well? The NHS are going to put money in this at the same time when they're not even affording patients the prescriptions in their own country, patients still having to go and seek private prescriptions. I believe there's only 2 or 3 patients that get funded through the NHS. All the rest of them have to fundraise for it. But now all of a sudden they're able to get their hand deep into their pockets to support this trial for this product for this private company that was recently sold for 9 billion, crazy. And what I thought was laughable then is the fact that the cancer charities are there. I don't know how many cancer charity pages I'm actually blacklisted from, that they've blocked me on Facebook years ago. When I started my whole campaigning and I was learning as the benefits of cannabis, I was just messaging the pages being like kind of, oh, why aren't you funding studies into cannabis? This woman, this man, this story here, that story there. There's a lot of anecdotal evidence there that warrants further investigation. Why are you not supporting calls for this to be done? And you would get blocked. You're like, oh, cannabis, oh, this is a joke, there's no evidence there to support it, it's all false, fake news, blocked. Absolutely ridiculous. Now here they are, they're putting money out there for these private companies, these dudes in suits, but when you're some stoner, there's going to be no entertaining. Absolutely ridiculous. The fact that all the anecdotal evidence that was that's out there around cannabis and cancer, whether it be for treating the symptoms of the chemotherapy, or whether it be actually treating the cancer itself. You see the anecdotal stuff that's put out there by Rick Simpson. Many of you are probably well aware of Rick Simpson. And it's never been investigated. Why? Because you can't patent that stuff. You can patent Sativex. Sativex is an oral mouth spray. That's patentable. There's money in that. If that's Rick Simpson oil, and if that was in a dropper bottle and it was just it's a normal tincture, full spectrum extract, it would be very hard for them to patent it. They could probably try to patent the genetics, the chemovar, the chemo profile of the plant, and the process for replication of it. They could probably patent that stuff. But then there's nothing stopping me or you from growing a plant that's very similar to what we find out, Sativex, the oral drops for treating the brain tumours. It's 20% THC and 1% CBD. And it's got these terpenes or whatever present, and you could find out, oh, well, this strain over there, the Harlequin or the fucking Alaskan thunderfuck. These strains have a very similar profile. I'm just going to grow that myself rather than paying, as Russell was getting extorted for, 500 quid a month for this stuff. That's 500 quid a month at the moment. But if they're successful in this test, that price might go up. They might say, well, actually, no, this can treat brain tumours now. Actually, it's 750 there for next month's prescription, Russell. And if you don't like it, well, you can lump it, buddy. And that's the game that these people are playing. GW Pharmaceuticals, it would not be in their interest for prohibition to be lifted for me or you to have the right to be able to grow this plant out our back garden, because we could easily make our own oral mouth sprays. There's nothing novel about this at all. There's nothing innovated. There's very little that's actual new here. There's very little. They make slight tweaks. The way in which they probably put the THC and stuff. So now the new thing is like nanoparticleizing things, and now boom, you can patent it. Because you nanoparticleized it through the process, you patent that, and it's like, oh, now the delivery system is what's patented. But the product, you could just easily make it yourself. So these companies are very much threatened by ending of prohibition, and I'd say this is what we're up against in trying to get it turned. is the vested interest, all the money that's stands to be lost. Because if you or I can grow this plant out of back garden, and then the value of this product goes down because there's going to be less people now maybe wanting it because they got access to much better products more locally. You know, just think about it. You know, follow the money on these things. Like it's just ridiculous. Like, but sorry, kind of went off the topic on this one. But this is a trial where it says that doctors will give patients across the UK with recurrent brain tumour called glioblastoma the drug which is known as Sativex alongside a chemotherapy medication temozolomide. In a clinical trial in an attempt to kill off cancerous cells. It will be the first such study in the world. Glioblastoma is an aggressive and hard-to-treat form of brain tumour that almost always comes back despite doctors using surgery, radiotherapy and chemotherapy to tackle it. Those diagnosed only live for 12 to 18 months, while those with recurrent glioblastoma survive for 10 months. About 2,200 people across England are diagnosed every year with the condition, making it the most commonest form of brain cancer. It says Sativex is already given to patients with multiple sclerosis whose condition has not improved despite treatment in order to reduce their spasticity. It is one of the 3 cannabis-based medicines currently in use in the NHS. We think that Sativex may kill glioblastoma tumour cells, and that it may be particularly effective when given with temozolomide chemotherapy. Temozolomide chemotherapy, so that it may enhance the effect of the chemotherapy treatment in stopping these tumours growing, allowing patients to live longer, as said Susan Short, the Professor of Clinical Oncology and Neuro-Oncology at Leeds University, who is the principal investigator of the study. That is what we want to test in this study, she said. And the brain tumour charity, which is funding the trial, will recruit. So there you go. The brain tumour charity is probably a spin-off of some other charity or something. But they're going to fund the trial now for some private company. What do they get back off this? Is there going to be kickbacks for them out of this, or what's the crack? Like, it's crazy to think, you know, that they would fund this, and why not just fund an off-patent product, you know, just you know, just the straight up one. I just don't understand it. Like, maybe it's just to be in line with the GMP kind of standards. Well, not GMP. What is it for clinical trials? GCP, good clinical practices. I don't know what it's called. But yeah, you just have to wonder really there what their role is in this, like why they're funding this this charity, how much it's costing them, and what they're going to get at the end of it. Like, I don't know, I'm just always kind of not really trusting of these cancer charities, like especially when they're working with like the GW Pharmaceuticals. Like, they were just bought for 9 billion. Like, surely these dudes can fund their own trials for their own products. Well, what in the name of God is going on here? Like, all of a sudden we're going to entertain the fact that cannabis may kill cancer cells now for this company, but all these other people on the internet, they're a bunch of lunatics, don't listen to them at all. In fact, Rick Simpson, you know, had to be exiled from his country. He left, went over to, was it Amsterdam, over to Holland to receive an award. And while he was over there, he was told that if you come back to Canada, we're going to arrest you. That the Royal Canadian Mounted Police had raided his property, and that he was now a wanted man over there, you know. And he remained then in Europe since. Since recently actually suffered some poor health. I believe he had a stroke, or I believe it was. And I think there's a GoFundMe up there as well. So if you type in Rick Simpson GoFundMe, you might find that if you want to throw a bit of support his way. Was certainly an inspirational man to myself anyway. Went out and made 100 copies of his DVD and wanted to hand them out above at the local cancer ward to people, because I just thought this was information that it was worth for them knowing, because their oncologist was not going to talk to them about this. This is a topic that's taboo. Do you know? But meanwhile, it's very valuable information. These companies are now entertaining it, like they're carrying out these trials to make millions, if not billions, off the sale of a drug that people have been told all along is dangerous and it's not good for you. But meanwhile, like we're doing a study to investigate it because they believe it'll actually kill the cancer cells. So look, it's welcome. It's welcoming to see the trials being done. I'm not going to be a completely negative Nancy on this. I really do hope that there is positive findings in this. I hope they do show evidence that that Sativex in combination with this chemotherapy drug that improves the outcome for the patients. I really do. I hope it's a positive outcome. But at the same time, I would love to see more and more studies being done into, you know, just cannabis and its potential there to help all cancer patients, and not just when it benefits these private companies, you know, and their the claims, the health claims they can make about their products. Because again, its health claim is worth its weight in gold, you know, for this product to be able to say that your product treats a brain tumor. To be able to claim that based off of this study, which includes 232 patients across 15 hospitals. So that's a sizable patient population there. So that'll be a very nice claim to be able to make about your product. One which will put your stock value up should cannabis continue to remain illegal, that is. So there you go, guys. That is today's 420 news. Nice one, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks for all the comments flying in, guys. Apologies for not interacting more there with the comments section. I was just helpful letter through the news there. But nice one, and nonetheless, for all of the comments that you gave in, for all of the likes that I've received there since starting the show. And also want to just go back to one I missed last week to DB Woodcraft. What's going on, DB? Hope you're still out there, dude. DB Woodcraft sent this in last week, and I believed I missed over it. And I just want to say thanks again. It's saying great exposure on the radio earlier. This was last Friday. Saying keep her lit, Martin. Literally. So nice one there, guys, to everybody who supported the show, liked, shared, and all of that fun stuff as well. See lots of your comments out there. Pods for 420, that's more of an amusement centre though than that Funland place on O'Connell Street. So it'd be fully young and old, really. Yeah, that's even more alarming to hear, you know, but that's not surprising either, to be fair. Yeah, you need Ishka, Martin. Best water in Ireland. What do I have? Carrick Glen. Not too fussy about what brand of water I drink, to be fair. I just don't like the stuff from the tap. It tastes funny. John Finnegan, what's going on? That assistant commissioner looks like he needs a hit from your bong, Martin. I might relax him and put a smile on his face. They say if that man smiled, now his whole face would just crack. So it's been a long time since he smiled. So his wife probably couldn't even make him smile. Pods 4420, that's some load of bullshit from him. Why is he straight up lying? Like, yeah, it's to benefit themselves. Like, that they're always going to support their prohibition, aren't they? They're not really going to tell the truth and call a spade a spade. Pod 85, look at Spain and the huge change now on drug clubs. The Irish crime families are well set up over there, safe from the law. Yeah, there's a lot of them over there. I believe that's actually even how King Crop 420, what's happening? I'll throw him up there again because we're about to have another blast off of that bong. And there we go, guys. Subscribe as well. Make sure you hit that all button in the subscribe over on YouTube. But yeah, thank you, Shannon, dude. Nice one. But not to be giving away your tricks of the trade and stuff, like, but stuff's just getting sent in from a contact that is overseas, whether it be Spain or Holland. I believe you said the last batch was Dutch Haze. So I don't know what the crack is there, but Yeah, there's a lot of people over there, like in Spain now, just sending stuff back. I know of a few people who have got family members who've gone over there and have set up clubs as well. You know, there's clubs over there set up by Irish people, run by Irish people, legitimately in the grey area. But they're still sending stuff back, like you know. I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want to be getting any people in trouble over there. But yeah, there is loads of people just gone over there to make use of it and continue to go over there. I don't know, is that the reason why? And I had her on as a guest in the past. Adrienne Lynch. The enlightened lady talker, a past guest on the podcast. I believe I interviewed her about 2 months ago, 3 months ago now. But she was telling me that she was moving over to Spain. I think she's making that move now in the next week or two. But again, getting away from this silly prohibition that's here and to get better access to medical cannabis to help with her quality of life too. Again, go check out that podcast if you want. Adrian talks about how cannabis was so beneficial to her and helping her with and improving the her quality of life. And now she has to leave Ireland with her young family to seek a better life in Spain again, you know, joining the likes of Alicia Maher. You know, very soon maybe we'll have a hashtag going for bring Alicia home, bring Adrian home as well. So it's just sad to hear more and more people having to leave Ireland because of this silly prohibition, but what do you expect? Was it like 20 quid for the return flight at the there about a month ago to Alicante? I think it's gone up to like 100 quid now or something like that. But imagine like 100 quid and you can get on an airplane and you land in a place where you've can walk in and just buy cannabis for about €5 to this maybe €8 a gram, depending on what tier, what quality you're getting. You know, obviously they probably have the Cali stuff over there as well. I seen some of the Spain menus with the Cali stuff, and that goes up to like, was it 25-35 a gram, but still, like, in fairness. But yeah, shout out to thank you, Shannon King Crop 420 there for hooking us up with today's smoke. Civil Disobedience again, guys. Every day is a protest. I see Mustawa is saying you're off to Spain in a week and you've already joined a club. I'll be hopefully on your mailing list there, Mustawa is. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, yeah. Send me over some of the lovely hash that they have over there. Squish a bit of squidgy into the envelope. I love it. So yeah, we might follow up with you on that one, Mustawa. Anybody else out there as well in Spain? We'll have to get hooked up with some a good source for hash, a reliable, trustworthy source, because as I say, thank you, Shannon. King Crop 420 is going to be hooking me up with a hash later on, but I'd love to be able to get a consistent supply of hash. It's just so nice. I really do. I don't know, do I prefer hash over weed? I haven't had a consistent enough supply of either yet to be able to kind of come to a conclusion on that one. But I certainly do. I really enjoy hash. Mark Andrew Morgan. Meanwhile, the Serious Crime Task Force is concentrating on 47-year-old woman with health problems. There you go. That's exactly what they're focusing on. They've got a crew of 700 people. There's 700 people working with the organised and the serious crime services. They target crimes including murder, rape, burglary, and organised crime, drug dealing and stuff like that. So 700 people, I can imagine the vast majority of them are dealing with organised crime in drug dealing. I could easily say about 70% of that 700, I would say maybe even 80% would be focusing on drugs, and then the other 20%, it includes cybercrime. And we all know Ireland's cybercrime is incredibly poor. I think it says that we had 20 people staffed in the cybercrime division. So that was 20 of the 700, I believe, is it? Is that the division there that 20 was out of? I don't know. But that number was thrown out there when the HSE got hacked recently, that we had 20 people working in the cybercrime division. So 20 out of 700 for cybercrime. How many left were for murder and maybe the burglary or whatever else was there? And how many were for drugs? Like, again, you'd have to say at least 600 of the 700 were for drugs. That's my opinion anyway. Incredible waste of time. Like, it's a fat our society can't continue to afford to carry on any longer, you know. There comes a time when you need to shed these unnecessary fats that you carry, you know, when it becomes unhealthy for your body, your society. And I think it's time we take a diet now, and prohibition has got to go for a healthier society, you know. You just have to cut it out. Straight up cold turkey for the prohibitionists. They're all addicted, you know. Frank Fian, he needs his fix of prohibition. Guys, don't forget this Saturday, just have to throw it up there as well. I should have started the show with this one as well, but this Saturday, guys, the 7th, fingers crossed, guys, prayers for good weather. Hopefully the predicted showers on the day will hold off, and that we will be able to dance in between them, you know, that we won't get caught in them anyway. We're going to gather between 2 and 6 p.m. We'll be having the raffle at just after 4:20, guys. Again, we'll have a little bit of festivities going on at around 4:20, if you know what I mean. So come prepared for that, guys. This is a bring your own cannabis event, and no selling on the day, guys. So come prepared. Don't come looking. You know, again, King Crop 420, guys. Shout out to him there if you need to be hooked up on the day. I believe you will be able to make arrangements to meet up before the picnic. See how these things work out, how convenient that is. But again, don't be expecting to get score at this event. Bring your own cannabis. Amazing raffle to be had. We've got some great prizes after being donated to us, starting with the amazing hand-carved cannabis leaf chainsaw hand-carved by the one and only DB Woodcraft. So thank you very much, DB Woodcraft, for an exceptional prize. So that will be available for you to get through that raffle. And if you want to buy tickets, guys, you can do so already online. You can send again through PayPal. Or will I get flagged? Through PayPal, go to Martin's World. And you'll be able to send that there. And you'll be able to buy tickets. €2 a ticket, or €5 for 10 euro for 5 tickets. And you can just put your number in, or if you're attending the event, just write attending into the PayPal. But if you're not attending the event, write your number in, and that way I can write your number onto the back of your tickets, and make sure you have them. If you're attending the event, then definitely, guys, you can just buy your ticket on the day. That's going to be much more preferable, to be honest, because yeah, Russell is dead right there. Like, he's saying that the PayPal will probably flag me if too many people are like buying raffle tickets through the PayPal. I was just thinking as an easy way for people to do it if they weren't able to attend, but they still want to win these fucking amazing prizes, because that hand-carved cannabis leaf is definitely an exceptional prize anyway. Then we've got an amazing prize given as well by the Irish Hemp Harvest. We've got a number of packs of raw skins, including one pack of 24 karat gold skins inside there, as well as some roach books. What else is in there? Yeah, this is the one there. Yeah, some roach books, some black raw skins, and 24 karat gold rolling papers. So there she is in all her glory. So yes, this is a prize you can win on Saturday. Then also earlier today, picked up inside this envelope, yes, we have a €30 gift voucher for Deep Root Gardening. So Deep Root Gardening, a local indoor gardening supply store in Cork City. They have given, and also in Limerick too, above at the Milk Market, I believe they're located in Limerick. But they've given us a €30 gift voucher for their store as well. So a nice prize there as well for anybody who's into the indoor gardening. They've got some lovely plants up there. I was in there earlier on, as I say, picking this up, and I seen they have some beautiful cactus as well. I love me some cacti, yeah, definitely. So this will be a nice prize as well for you. Excuse me. And other prizes that we have, R420 supplies. Yes, R420 supplies also getting in behind the raffle. And they're also whipping up a hamper there that can be won as well. I've got no image to share of that. Or I do actually. 1 second, I will seek that out. I believe that I received it over on Instagram. So 1 second, and I'll see if I can pop that image up there now. But yeah, there's another. Boom, there we go. That's it, and it's a lovely colourful one as well. So, there it goes. Yeah, so you have a bunch of raw skins on there. So a nice variety, some unbleached ones, black ones, the natural ones. You've got the different roach tip books as well as a pack of the pre-rolled raw tips as well, I believe I can see in there. Then what else do we have there? A raw loader. You have some doob tubes on there as well. You have raw cones. You have a raw ashtray. You got a really nice Rasta tray, rolling tray there, as well as a couple of lighters. I believe there's like a pokey stick on there as well. So a really nice prize there as well. So nice one there to R420 Supplies. Get over and give them a follow, guys, if you haven't already done so, over on Instagram, and check out their store as well, r420.ie. They're located above in Port Arlington. Yeah, there's their store page there as well, just so you can see. So again, guys, great prizes to be won on the day. If you're not in, you can't win. So get your asses down there to the Mardyke skate park in the green area, just outside of the skate park. We'll be gathering from 2 o'clock. Again, praying that there will be no rain there on the day. But hopefully it all goes well. All of the funds raised, guys, through the raffle will be going to the Cork City Missing Persons Search and Recovery Charity as well. A local charity that I believed could do with the money more than we could. I didn't have anything off the top of my head that I wanted to be raising money for through the raffle. So outside of the Cannabis Activist Hub, but I believe their charity is much more deserving, and I believe that we can make this hub happen anyway without having to do raffles for it. But yeah, so that's this Saturday, guys. Exciting. Woo! I can't wait. Just looking through your comments. DB Woodcraft is out there saying, where can RSO be bought or similar product for cancer chemo? Again, to buy it, man, just have to know a grower. And if you want to be getting the Rick Simpson oil, following that protocol, you're looking for a heavy indica. Rick Simpson always recommended White Widow. Excuse me. But yeah, I don't know with any heavy indica, but indica, high strength alcohol or solvent to do the extraction. And then taking the full spectrum oil and getting up to, was he saying, nearly a gram a day? That's like the Rick Simpson protocol. But to buy the oil, again, you can go out to the dark web, but there's a lot of chance or scammers out there who'll just take your money off you. Like the best thing to be doing, really, if you need cannabis for a person for their cancer, for to do with chemo or anything like that, then it would be looking for a trustworthy source. You know, getting her off a friend who you know who grows their own cannabis, or a friend who you know who knows their cannabis, for them to get you a good quality cannabis. You know, maybe buy it online, just get a go onto one of the dark webs. I'd be more inclined to buy the weed than buy the RSO online, unless you're buying it from a trusted source, you know, that it just comes from recommended by somebody you trust, you know. But otherwise, buy the weed, make the oil yourself. That would be my recommendation, because that would be better than buying the oil. At least you know when you buy the weed and make it yourself that at least you got weed. But when you buy the oil, there's a bit more of a chance that you could get ripped off if you're not testing it. That could happen with the weed too. But you know, just always just be careful on these things. Grow your own, make your own is kind of what I would really recommend to people at the moment. Yeah, that's right. Thor 20, a GW pharmaceutical patent in 2010 stated a compound in cannabis had been tested and observed to cause apoptosis in cancer cells. So go from cotton mouth to an incredibly hydrated mouth. But apoptosis is basically a natural cycle of cells where a cell reaches its natural conclusion and will go through a series of mechanisms that will kill the cell and recycle its components or whatever for the birth of new cells. But when a cell goes cancerous, apoptosis is not occurring, and therefore the cell continues to live, continues to replicate and regrowing, and becomes cancerous. But THC, then cannabis, from cannabis, has been shown in cell models. So this is in tests in petri dishes. So all of this stuff is never. None of these studies are ever entertained as such, you know, from the mainstream professions. They're like, well, you know, what was one argument that they tried to make is that, they showed that you can kill cancer as well in a cell model using a bullet from a gun. You know, did you shoot the cancer cell? Like, mainly, like, you know, that a cancer cell in a petri dish, it's outside of the human host, the human environment, so therefore it's not it's the data is disregardable. So it's ridiculous. Like, you know, that's what how they treat this data, and it hasn't been entertained at all. And again, that people, again, you know, the Ellen Corrigans, the woman suffering with the stress and anxiety, people like Alicia Maher, that they're all suffering currently because of this prohibition in their own ways, whether they're being treated like criminals or are being treated like outcasts. It's all because of cannabis prohibition. So again, Saturday, guys, get your boots on, bring your umbrella just in case. Bring little pop-up tents. Actually, might be a good, recommendation. Could have a little festival down there. But if it does shower on us, like, get a little semi-waterproof pop-up tent. Just don't leave them behind you, guys. Maybe donate them then afterwards to a local charity or something. Just make sure they're clean and not full of skins and nodgeburns. But you know, that's just one suggestion, just to keep yourselves dry anyway. Maybe, you know, a pop-up tent to bring along. You probably get them in Argos there for like 20-30 quid. They probably have a load of them, seeing as there's not too many festivals now at the moment. Like, you know, they'd be only happy to sell them. So they're probably doing them cheap. Not that they were ever even expensive anyway, some of those pop-up tents. Jazz Pharmaceuticals are cancer specialists. There you go. That would make a lot of sense, actually, Tartween, actually, as to why they bought up Jazz Pharm or GW Pharmaceuticals, then, given their portfolio of products, you know, and maybe some of the patents that they currently have existing, you know, that they want to get that in. Are upcoming, you know. You just don't know what knowledge it is, because it's knowledge that they were buying there. That's what transferred, I suppose, is you're maybe privy to as well. That's what was 9 billion. The right to sell us the access to a plant that we could easily grow ourselves and make this in our own kitchens, you know. But that's what they're trying to sell back to us for millions and billions. Russell, so can I rob your green screen Friday? As long as it's not a 420, Russell, yes, no problem at all. And the camera, yeah, that's no problem either, bud. Marie McCloskey, what's happening behind the scenes? Is that legislators are developing law surrounding medical cannabis so that pharmaceutical industry will benefit? They're basically jumping ships. Drink Ishka. Yeah, there you go. Like, money talks. If they were to legalize it overnight, it would be a free for all, a massive slap to the system. Yeah, but that's the thing. They won't be able to legalize it overnight, but they could decriminalize it overnight and then just allow for the market to develop from the ground up. With the introduction first of maybe not-for-profit cooperatives where we could grow cannabis ourselves, set up dispensaries, patient collectives, stuff like that. And, you know, capitalism then could come maybe in 5 or 10 years' time or something down the road. But yeah, decriminalisation could happen definitely overnight, and we can keep the money out of it as well if we regulate it the right way. Monsieur Fudge says, I paid €24 on Barca because I had to try it in the club, Canadian, so I grow better. One Up Club in Barca, top spot. Nice one. If I ever go to Barcelona, I'll have to check up the One Up Club if it still exists, given the change of the scene over there currently. Podge getting in saying, did you see if you got the job over the weekend, you get a festival discount and a travel ID? I didn't, Podge. That's absolutely ridiculous. They need to throw in at least a Happy Meal for McDonald's, and then I'll consider it. No Happy Meal. Well, no job for me. Give me a Happy Meal and I'll get my job. And Anna McFlurry actually as well. Now that you've made me wait, you haven't given me my Happy Meal. I'm not happy. I want a McFlurry, and that sweetens the deal. Yes, pun intended. Podge, Podge is saying that we'll miss you, Mastawes, but I hope you'll still check in for the old 420 news and the high and homegrown as well. We'll keep this community alive. We won't lose you. What else is out there? Dave AK running Windows Vista. Nice. Podge 85, easy option. Just try up on the day. Yeah, exactly. Just rock up on the day and we'll be able to sort you out with some tickets. John Finnegan says, and that tent from Ed Byrne, aka Greenbeard, Marty C. Yes. Guys, I also forgot GB Greenbeard from High and Homegrown has also gifted some prizes, and that's also in my Instagram messages, so I will pop those up because they are wonderful prizes too for the growers in your life, the indoor gardeners and outdoor gardeners. So one sec, I'll pop this up on screen so you see this. Boom, there you go. So they have Dirt Grow, Dirt Bloom, and also in there, yeah, these are them. So everything you need to grow some beautiful tomatoes. Yes, you'll grow some very big, very ripe, very plump tomatoes that will be just bursting with flavors. Yes, everything you need, just beautiful, big, ripe, plump tomatoes. And that's going to be all available to be won on a Saturday, guys, at the cannabis protest for Cannabis Reform Ireland. Yes, picnic in the park. So nice one, GB, for that one there as well. So that's an incredible prize as well. Literally, I don't know, did GB also say that there was there is a rare as hen's teeth, a Greenbeard 10 slap. Yes, guys, I will repeat that again. You can win a Greenbeard 10 slap. It is as rare as hen's teeth, and you can only win that at Saturday's raffle. And so yeah, that's going to be up there as well to be won. And there's going to be some seeds there as well from Greenbeard thrown in for a prize also. So a couple of prizes, guys. So lots and lots of opportunities to win on Saturday. So make sure that they get down. If you're not in, you can't win. And again, it's a very worthwhile cause to be supporting. The Cork City Missing Persons Search and Recovery Group, they do some incredible work out there in our community. A lot of volunteers, unpaid, for the work they do. And yeah, I just think it's a very worthwhile cause to be supporting. So nice one for that reminder there, John Finnegan, you legend. Pods for 420 few on Insta. Haven't got any of these lads, but they're definitely above board. But in the UK, yeah, I'd definitely be looking for an Irish supplier anyway. If that was the case, anything coming from the UK is subject to the old customs, isn't it? Gonna have to lower my light. It looks like I'm kind of in the shadows there. Boom, it's probably too close to me now, isn't it? But that would be grand. Anybody else in the comments? Tortween program sell that. Yeah, that's a apoptosis. That's the one. Monshore Fudge shite. I forgot a 4-person inflatable. Nice. Is that an inflatable tent? Is it? Lovely. Happy days. 4 people in there as well. Sure, that's 4 people sleeping, but you get 8 people smoking, wouldn't you? As long as they're all from the same household now as well, actually. Yeah, social distancing and all that. Marie McCloskey, I think they're going to do a murder mountain on us. Garda now have discretion to give caution, so technically it is being decriminalised. Yeah, they've discretion to give caution, but only once, isn't it? Or twice? Like you know, they're not limited in the amount of discretion that they can show. So yeah, I just don't like the introduction of these this fucking decriminalisation that we have in Ireland at the moment. Because technically we have decriminalisation in Ireland. If you were to ask the prohibitionists, they're like, oh, we did decriminalise drugs. Sure, the first time a person gets caught, they go to the health services. The second time they get an adult caution. Sure, they're not getting criminalised. The third time, though, they get criminalised, though. But we won't talk about that. We've decriminalised drugs. Yeah, 2 times. Do you know? Ridiculous. Yes, DBO Craft overgrow the country. And Monshore says it's with an awning if you need it. Nice. So if you got an awning there as well, sure, that just increases the old community that you can have within it. Nice old hot box. Yeah, definitely. I fingers crossed, guys. Let's hope that the weatherman turns around tomorrow and says, yes, guys, big change in the weather. It's going to look fantabulous on Saturday. And that the sun is going to split the stones, and we're all going to have to bring the sunscreen, you know. But if it doesn't, guys, just make sure I have the umbrella, maybe pop-up tent. Right, it's going to be time to say goodbye, guys, because I've been just doing 40 minutes of talking waffle with yourselves, reading your comments, but enjoying the bands nonetheless. On Friday, guys, I will open up the 420 hotline. Get yourselves in for an old conversation. So if anybody wants to ring in, send me a message if you want to share anything at all. If you want to do so over the phone, give me a call, send me a message there, or get an email to me there at martinsworld podcast@gmail.com. And I can feature you as part of Friday's 420 news. I'd love to hear from more people out there, your experiences at the hands of the law, the Irish court system, and you know, just what it's like to maybe even be a person who's out there growing cannabis illegally in Ireland, and have not got caught yet, or even you did get caught. You know, I'd like to be able to hear from you and share your experiences with other people as well. So do get in touch, and we might be able to feature you on Friday's news. Otherwise, guys, we will open the hotline to callers as well. Skatanist, at Martin's World, I've got a gazebo 3x3 that I could bring with, so we have a little cover if needed. Skatanist, if it's not too much hassle, actually, that would be epic if you could, but that would be savage, because if anything, anyway, I would need some. I was going to just bring a black bag to put over the speaker with me on the day, because the speaker's not waterproof, and should it start raining, I just kind of throw like the black bag up over the speaker to cover it so it doesn't get stuck. But an old 3x3 gazebo would be nice, alright, to give a bit of cover there. So if I was actually looking at some private companies that rent them. I was looking at a 50 meter by 20 meter on renting it. But it's a public field. I'd say there's all sorts of permissions you would need to erect such a large structure there. So maybe next time, something to be looked into. Maybe we might be able to find a private bit of land, and we will do this protest in a more festival style. I would think a lot of people would be up for that, actually. What would you call it, though? We could come up with this now, the camp out for cannabis reform. Yeah, that mightn't be a bad one. I've had somebody in touch with me already. They have land down in West Cork area. It's privately owned land, and it's large enough that we could get a number of us down there for, yes, Smoke Fest. The Smoke Fest, definitely. That definitely is winning as a title currently. But we could definitely get that land, given a loan to us. I don't think there's going to be any charge attached to it. But we would be able to do something down there. Rent out again, a little marquee type of thing, that 50 by 20, and have just a fucking good old time, But again, it's a protest as well. We'll begin. There's going to be cameras there, be prepared for that and all of that stuff. But at the same time, we won't be too vocal about it as such. We might kind of keep it quiet, just so it's successful and it doesn't get raided and all of that stuff. Like Condon's camp out for cannabis reform. Nice. So yeah, like that's gonna happen, I'd say, in September, guys. So that just before the end of the good weather in Ireland. We'll arrange for that. So we if people want to get in touch, and we might get an old committee going to organise that to make it happen. If people have input there as to performers that we could get down, some more musicians that would come down and do some performances there on the evening. And some other ideas, it would be a good crack. Yeah, protestival. Yes. Yes, protestival smoker fest. That's it. The protestival smoker fest. Yeah. the Russell Banta, 2 elephants. Smoker fest. Yes, nice. An emphasis on the sh. Love it. Right, I'm gonna blaze this one up. Fire Festival. Oh, I love it. Yes. Nah. It would be good if that name wasn't tainted. Fire Festival. Ah, what a burn. Irish Hemp Harvest saying, I like the name Camp Out for Cannabis Reform. Yeah, I like that one as well. It's less festival. I like the festival, but it takes away from the protest effort of it, and because they have to shine the light and all of this stuff at the moment. So we've to come from that angle. And I do believe I agree with Irish Hemp Harvest. I kind of like the less in your face kind of name, if you will. It's gentler. Camp Out for Cannabis Reform. Like, there's nothing threatening about a camp out, but like with the Smoke Fest, it's like, well, smoke is cancerous, like, you know what I mean, and it's got so much negativity attached to it, like, so we You know what I mean? Like, for the snowflake generation that's out there, like, we have to be gentle with them, don't we, guys? Like, so, yes, like, we're going to have a friendly camp out, guys, and we're going to have a gay old time. But yeah, like Camp Out for Cannabis Reform, I like that name. It's a very good working title there to go from. So maybe over in the Discord, we'll start the discussion there actually later on. Irish Hemp Harvest, and others who are already over there. If you're not already over there, guys, there is a great Discord running at the moment. If you haven't got added to it, drop me a message. I'll get you added to it. I'll try to put it into the description. Said that in the last show too, but I believe I forgot to do it. But yeah, we'll get on top of that one. But there is a great Discord building up at the moment. We're very active over there. So do get involved. And we'll get the Camp Out for Cannabis Reform active over there as well. And we could have our own little back name for it, like, a hidden name, if you will, of it, that we could continue then once we achieve prohibition, at the ending of prohibition, that we've legalized. Then we'll come out and we'll have our smoke fest, or what else has been recommended on Shore Fudge, skunk stock. No, we have to get more Cork with it, do we? Because if it's down in West Cork, like, the rebel, yeah, I don't know. Right, I'm gonna blaze up this bowl here anyway because my hand's gone dead from holding the bong. Yes, love civil disobedience protests. They taste so nice. Miss LAOIS there shared a link in the comments for the Discord, I believe. I do think that's the Discord for the one that I was talking about there, the cannabis reform one anyway. But yeah, do definitely get over there, guys. Join what is a growing great community, and also over on the Percy's High and Homegrown as well, guys. Don't forget to check them out as well. If you the Percy's grow them, if you want to learn how to grow some decent cannabis, that's where you go. Dan Jackson still going, fair play. Came back because I forgot the Snapchat you said at the start. King Crop 420. Shout out again, Snapchat King Crop 420, hooking me up with today's smoke. Legend, and I look forward to the bit of hash as well that the dudes are promising. So yeah, excited for that. Others out there, DB Woodcraft says, I'll bring the chainsaw and carve live. That would be very really, that would be really cool. I just wonder how the cops might take that. No, definitely, man. That would be really cool. To come down and to do a live carving. Again, that would add to the offering on the day, just the display of what's there. The cannabis community, but we're great and diverse. It's not just great music to people to produce, but great art, by all means. Also, another great artist out there that I was communicating around this time last year would have been Arthur. He was over on Instagram. I haven't seen any of his stuff up there in a while. I wonder, is he still active over there? Arthur, yeah, he's still got his stuff over there. I just haven't seen any of his posts over there. Indeed, last post 21 hours ago, actually. But yeah, he's got really cool art, like, and a dude who's inspired by cannabis. Pop up his page there, just as I'm mentioning the dude. But yeah, give this dude a follow over on Instagram if you're into this kind of artwork. Like, it's just really trippy, psychedelic type of artwork. It's but yeah, gets a lot of his inspiration from cannabis, I suppose. At least he credits some of his inspiration to cannabis. But yeah, really cool artwork. He was there last year at the protest in the park, brought along some of the artwork that he made himself as well. So some really just obscure pieces, you know. I'm sure maybe DB will appreciate this kind of creativity as well. I've seen some of your pieces as well that you've done, DB. I believe you've done some stuff for festivals as well. You've carved your fair share of mushrooms. I've seen. But yeah, like, you know, it just we so much to offer. Like, you know, it'd be a shame if we were all locked up in a prison cell, like some sort of fucking North Korean enslavement camp of North Korea on the mine over that recent podcast. But still, like, you know, it's as bloody backwards this prohibition is. Um, but yeah, like definitely, DB. If it's not too much difficulty, man. If you want to bring down the chainsaw, do definitely that'd be a decent opportunity to showcase some of your work, and how the piece that's on the raffle came about. And I don't know, DB. Do you take like requests for personal pieces? Like, do people get in touch with you to make stuff like that? Because I'd imagine that they would, alright. I know if I was if I owned my own house and I was afforded the opportunity, I certainly would have a few requests there going in for nice carvings for benches and stuff like that, because there's nothing beats that quality that you've been that I've seen that you've been putting out. Like, it looks savage. Who else is out there? Skitanis, by the way. Shout out to Munchie Daniel if you're here. It was great meeting you on Saturday. Yes, guys. On Saturday, it was a Sunday actually. It was. That protest above in Dublin. I believe the guys had a very nice gathering above there. They didn't accumulate the numbers that they had intended. Unfortunately, it was Sunday for myself. I wasn't able to get out of prior commitments with family. Sunday is family day, and I kind of keep that religiously for family, and I sacrifice enough the other 6 days of the week. And I wasn't willing to do it on that Sunday to go up to Dublin. 6 hours of traveling, it's quite a bit. So I was like, look, I supported it, and yeah, unfortunately, I believe there was about maybe 12 or 20 of you above there. Gathered, had a couple of smokes behind a very nice banner above in the green area above in Dublin. So it was nice to hear that you got to meet one another as well. So fair play, guys. It was, yeah. Mustal was saying that it was a good crack Sunday for the short notice. And it was, you know. So like no blaming to the like. Yeah, no, yeah. What would you say? Like, yeah, no hard feelings to the organizer. Like, you know, not wanting to be too judgmental on it. It wasn't very well advertised. I barely knew anything about it myself. I only became very much aware of it the week before it. Do you know? So unfortunately, it just didn't get the attention that it deserved. And therefore, not enough people showed up. But the Saturday, like, this protest, like, it's gotten fair bit of coverage now. So if people don't show up, well, then it's because people don't want to see cannabis legalized in Ireland, I would imagine. But no doubt, all you lovely people are going to show up out there who can show up. Yeah, I see Susan Ann Oil says, can't wait for the 7th of August. I see many people are excited about the 7th, so I do anticipate that we will get a big turnout should the weather be on our side on the day. But again, guys, just don't let the bad weather deter you. Come, bring your rain gear and stuff like that. Like, if you smoke joints, bring them in some waterproof encasings. You know, just sandwich bag, simply. You know, sandwich bag. It's predicted that there's supposed to be showers on the day. Like, so, fingers crossed, like, that the showers are from 10 to 12 and stop from 12 till 6, and sure we be started then, like, you know, we be started. Let's hope, like, let's hope for sunshine, like, and yeah, you know, but just come prepared, like, just be waterproof yourself, like. I'll bring my windproof lighter and me bong. It's not too hard then to keep the weed in a waterproof, like, metal encasing, like, you know. Yeah, so definitely just come prepared, guys. But don't let any bad weather deter you. Like, it is a protest after all. Get down there. Get your tickets for the raffle. Again, just if the weather is anyway bad on the day, the raffle will still go ahead at around 4:20. So at least make an effort to get down there right before that. Get down there around 4 o'clock. Support the raffle, support the 420. And yeah, definitely, like, just make an effort. Don't be deterred. Like, rain's not gonna. I'm not going to say it's not going to kill you, because, like, I do believe that we've had some bad weather around the world recently. So, and I shouldn't be laughing at that, because people have actually fucking died because of some of the rain they've gotten across the world. Like, but yeah, not being literal. Yes, Stevie Woodcraft, thumbs up on the mushrooms, nice. Skatana saying, I rented a petrol generator last weekend for a party of a friend, paid 50 quid for the entire weekend. Nice to know. Yeah, I know of a few places here that do the generators as well, similar pricing as well, maybe even a little bit cheaper. Just you can do the 24 hours, but if you take it on the Saturday, I think they get you for the weekend. But yeah, still not too bad. Like, you can make use of it. All right, definitely. Like, but that would be for the camp out, I'd say, more than this weekend. I wouldn't be bringing a generator this weekend anyway. John Finnegan says, "Feck off, Condon. I have to go kickboxing, but can't leave because of you." Oh shit, John. Sorry, man. I won't keep you any longer, bro. We'll finish off with these few comments, and you can bounce on then. Good to hear you're doing a bit of kickboxing as well. You'll have to bring the gear down with you there on Saturday, and we'll do a bit of an old exhibition. If it's kickboxing you do, I'll just keep all the kicks above the waist for you kickboxers with your unconditioned legs. I was going to say girly legs, but there's some girls out there, in fairness, like, and they'd kick the legs off me. So, the days of saying girly legs are gone, aren't they? Unconditioned. That's the appropriate term. It's the more technical term for us in the sport. Yeah, but it's definitely known kickboxers just kick them in the legs, and no, Thai boxing's where it's at, John boy. Have you done a bit of Thai boxing, John? I'd imagine you might have tried it, but I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't either. So sometimes some people just get a bit diehard about the kickboxing. They're like, no, I'd never do the Thai boxing. That's dirty. I've actually had kickboxers say that, like, about Thai boxing. Oh, that's dirty. It's funny. Yeah, Skatanis was on about the camp out. I was thinking that as well, Skatanis. Sorry, it was just I was caught up in the picnic mindset there again. Monsieur Fudge says, bring your kayaks, lads. You're going to be kayaking on the Lee, yeah? I hope you're not jinxing the weather there now, Monsieur. I was only out doing a bit of kayaking there myself last week. Good crack it was. Really enjoyed it. Certainly might have to invest in one someday myself. And Skitana says, imagine if the mushroom season had started by then. Yeah, well, it kind of is. We're into August now, so and guys, I'm going to go after this. All right. So one last bit of knowledge before we go. I'll get up the mushroom that's going to be around now, just in case you see it that you don't pick it. So psilocybe. Psilocybe. Cyanosis wavy cap is the common name. So I will get this up on screen here now for you. But this is the mushroom, guys, that you would be looking for. This is the guy. This is the wavy cap. So just be careful. There is lookalikes out there as well. But this is what you're looking for. This is the psilocybe cyanosis. So it has this kind of grey stem. It has that the kind of amber brown gills underneath, and it has it's important to note it has no attachment from the mushroom cap to to the stem as well. That's important because I believe there's one of the lookalikes, psilocybe cyanosis, and I'll put in lookalikes here just to get them up because I can't remember the name of the lookalike, and I should remember the name of it. But they're here they are side by side actually. So the color is the differentiation here actually. But I did remember that there was one with the gills. So you see here, this one kind of has a little thing around the neck of the mushroom here, a little collar. That looks like the wavy cap also. So that's something also to be aware of. So it does not have one of those, and it is not that color. So the one on the left here is the wrong one. And let's see if they give more information here through this website as to this. Your contract is not private. Kiss my arse. Let's go over to Shroomery. Shroomery is the spot. Yeah, that's where the picture comes from there. So that this is the could be a tubarius or a gallonarius or something else. Here's a comparison of a cyanosis versus a tubaria. So there's the two side by side, and I will get them up there again. No, that one still won't load. You made it. So again, just be aware that there is lookalikes with the psilocybe cyanosis, but this is the one that they don't know anyway. That's the point I was making. Looking in wood chipped areas, so you see here as evident, you know, these kind of wood chipped areas. Look around for those wood chipped areas, and you will find the psilocybe cyanosis. These mushrooms pictured in this one, apparently according to this label here, says it's a psilocybe aleni, another psilocybin containing mushroom, but I don't believe we would find that here in Ireland. That's probably taken from America, but what we would find are these, yes, the wavy caps. So again, the stem here is important, the stem color, and that's the important color here for the lookalikes. And here are good pictures of them. These are potent as well, guys. It is that's important to state as well. So mushroom potency. Psilocybin. So I think they have these. Yes. So the Azarsens. So that is said to be the strongest at 2.5% psilocybin. In terms of its potency, anyway, and you can see down here actually the cyanescence is actually labeled next to the cubensis. So yeah, they're not as potent as I would have thought actually, according to this chart. I was always believing that they would have been up around the 1%, which they kind of are actually. Yeah, but cubensis, I suppose if you grow them really well, you could get up to the 1%, but I always knew cubensis to be a little bit weaker than some of the sciences and the liberty caps, which would be the semi-sidclanienta. I don't know how that's even pronounced there in that spelling. But this is where this chart is coming up from here. The flying saucer mushroom. Damn it, ads. So 1.7% psilocybin. So that was the flying saucer. Knobby tops. Interesting. So they're bringing in other compounds there to calculating the potency. It's not just based on the psilocybin. They're taking into the psilocin as well, which would convert in the when it's been broken down within the body, again adding to the potency, again as they're calculating it here. Nice. There's the Liberty Cap. That's the one. Psilocybe semi-elan acetia. Sentia. I'm terrible with Latin, man. I was always shocking with the Latin nomenclature. When we were doing the botany, it was always such a struggle. The Fraxius, I can still not remember them, oh, geez, I was terrible with the Latin names. But this is ours, the native Irish one, the Liberty Cap. Yes, I love microdosing on this one and daily. Yeah, it's a lovely one. Then you've the Cubensis here, golden caps. This is where they're taking their potency from. But I suppose I would be looking for more the container grown ones, which do, I suppose, come down the ranks. But they're going from the wild found ones here. The wild Cubensis, which would, I suppose, maybe have a bit more potency. And there's the wavy caps then. So there's a few others there as well. So yeah, these have been grown in a container here. These ones, like, would you eat them ones? Like, geez, they don't look very appetizing at all. They're where does it say they're found in Georgia, over there in America? No thanks. So I give me a Liberty Caps any day. Like, Liberty Caps are actually tasty, in fairness. I've gotten to acquired a taste for the Liberty Cap. Like, I'll enjoy chewing on the Liberty Cap. Apparently, if you give it a good chew in your mouth, and incorporate it again, like, might sound disgusting, but by chewing it repetitively, the mushrooms before you swallow them into your saliva, you increase the surface area, increase the potency. They get a bit of a bit more of a chew or a bit more of activity going on there. And again, if you want, obviously, if you're looking for potency, lemon tech is where it's at, obviously. But for a while, I like just to chew the mushrooms. I would just chew them one by one, just chew it, get a good chew going in the mouth, and then swallow about like 20 of them at once, like, but it was quite tasty, in fairness. Got to go higher the taste. Right, I hope John Finnegan's not after missing his kickboxing over me. He's probably listening in the car driving down the road if they've got good coverage wherever he's at in Ireland. Yeah, D. Woodcraft says, wood chipped area. That's me sorted. Yeah, apparently Lidl and Aldi's, guys, I've heard, so keep an eye out around Lidl and Aldi's. Don't be picking the wavy caps down there, because they contain a psychedelic substance known as psilocybin, which will make you hallucinate, guys. So this is a public service announcement from Martin's World. Don't be picking the mushrooms that I just showed you on screen, what they look like, and the other ones, what they also look kind of like them. Don't be picking them, guys, because they're psychedelic. And certainly don't be picking the ones that look like the ones that are psychedelic, because they'll make you sick. Yes, they will cause nausea and stomach cramps, and who knows what that could escalate to if you overindulged in the wrong mushroom. Like, so again, like, do your homework, guys. Make sure you know what you're picking, and don't pick the ones I showed you, guys, because they're psychedelic and drugs are bad, okay? No, definitely do pick them, enjoy them, microdose them as well. That's great. Fuck it. Still have to find apes. And Skatana saying that. Yeah, I've seen some of those apes over there on some of the grow room, the shroomery grow rooms. Man, people are doing some incredible things out there with their mushroom grow kits, aren't they? In fairness, I would love to be able to get back into it. I had the pleasure of growing oyster mushrooms. I grew king oyster. I grew pink oyster. I grew white oyster. We grew shiitakes. We grew what were the other ones we grew? There were Nemiko. They were a lovely, really gooey mushroom, actually. Like, and it might sound disgusting, like, but it was like almost like a noodle kind of a texture. Like a lovely mushroom, delicious. Oh, I really enjoyed them. And I was good at it. I recently got offered a job for fucking a mushroom farm. I would love to be up there now working above in Portlaoise, above there by R420 supplies. But unfortunately, I'd have to relocate, and with the upcoming fines and court cases and stuff for the civil disobedience, I just didn't think it would be fair for me to take on a job that would take for me to be fully committed to it 9 to 5, no more 420 News, no more Martin's World, no more Civil Disobedience. Um, and no, I couldn't do it as much as I would love to have done it. I was just like, unfortunately, just had to turn down the opportunity to. I wasn't offered the job. I was offered an opportunity to apply for the job, but I was offered it by the owner of the farm, and I was gutted to have to turn it down. I really like growing mushrooms, like not just psychedelic mushrooms, like the gourmet mushrooms, like they're delicious, and the nootropic ones, the lion's mane, the other ones, the reishi, cordyceps, the super ones, the really super mushrooms. Feck, like they're incredible as well. Like I'd love to be back growing all of them, but someday, I do believe that day is coming soon. That this will all be behind us. Prohibition will be ended, and Martin will have a cannabis farm, a mushroom farm, and a cafe where you can enjoy all of those fine products then as well, straight farm to fork, or farm to bowl. Yes. Right, this has been a long one, guys. Apologies. 2 hours, 10 minutes. I didn't intend to go so long. Thanks to the diehard of you out there who are enjoying the stream. Enoki as well. Enoki is or another mushroom that we grew. A funny story. I don't know if I've told it on here before. Is we won the Student Inc. competition in CIT in the final year of my herbal science course, and we entered the business idea super fungi. Fungi, mushrooms, super. We were the super fungi then, me and my buddy. But it never worked out. But while we were going through this like business camp then for the summer, we were growing mushrooms inside in the office. So we were the mushroom guys, and you wouldn't obviously, like, I can imagine you all would guess it, like, but straight away, like, people are like, oh, but mushrooms, like, oh, you magic mushrooms, like. And we would play with that then as well. We would have fun with that, like, yeah, we magic mushrooms, like, because these mushrooms are magic. Like, if you were to think about like a mushroom such as the lion's mane mushroom, that it's been shown through scientific studies to have these nootropic effects, and that it really enhances the ability of one's brain. And when used in the correct dosage, in the correct way, it can really enhance one's quality of life. That's fucking magic, like, the same with the reishi mushroom as well, and how it's been shown there to stimulate the immune system in many different ways. They call it the mushroom of immortality. Serious stuff, like, in fairness. And then you have the cordyceps one. And apparently the story goes that they were like pulling the Chinese swimming team in the Olympics there a couple of years back, kind of thinking that they were doing performance enhancing drugs, but not all of them were on the cordyceps mushrooms. And the cordyceps mushroom has been shown to, again, through scientific studies, to enhance the cell's ability to utilize oxygen. So again, just making your cells more efficient at the utilization of oxygen. Again, that's fucking magic stuff. Like, why is this in a mushroom growing up out of the bloody ground at the top of a mountain somewhere, and some cows are eating it? Apparently that's how they discovered it. Like, the cows that would eat out of the field with the mushrooms would be very active, very productive, and very healthy, overall. And then they see, oh, they're eating those mushrooms. Well, I'm going to eat some of those mushrooms. We're a weird old creature, all right, aren't we? And if you want as well, guys, all of those extracts, those mushroom extracts, are actually available at the moment over on the martinsworld.ie. There's a shop up over there. I have a few of those mushroom extracts over there. The lion's mane, the reishi, and the cordyceps one. Excuse me. But I'm definitely playing with the idea of getting that hub up and running, and we might incorporate mushrooms and cannabis into the play of ideas there for the cannabis activist hub. It'll be a cafe, a mushroom cannabis cafe. We'll have mushroom extracts, cannabis extracts, incorporated into different food products, as well as different teas, coffees. There we go. Like, this is going to happen. Like, winter is coming. We're going to have to deal with the winter. We're going to need a place where we can meet and organise. And Cork City is the rebel county after all. So we're going to make this happen. It's good. Dream is going to be a reality sooner rather than later. And with the help of you great people out there, with Russell there last week leading the charge, getting in some incredible donations. Again, just making that dream ever more possible. So a legend, Russell, and everybody else who's thrown a couple of quid into the kitty. It's greatly appreciated, and we will see this dream be put into a reality very soon. And we will turn this, and it'll be a non-profit cafe as well. When we're setting this up, I'd like to get a few more people involved in this, get a committee in working in around this, making this cafe work. It has to be self-sufficient in its own right, that it keeps itself going, because we can't keep leaning on these donations. It's taken about a year to acquire about maybe 4 or 5 months worth of rent at the moment. That's not including like electricity rates and all this stuff. So maybe it's not too possible to work off of donations alone. So donations with a little cafe. That's the way forward. It's what the gay community did. And I think it's what we need to do. So we will make this happen. And we'll invite Frank Fian down for an old cup of coffee, won't we? We'll get Frank and Stephen down to try some of our CBD and mushroom cake. might have a meet Alicia and her mother while they're down here as well, I'm sure they'd have a kind word or two to have with them. But yeah, definitely, Russell, good investment. Nice one, Russell, for trusting me. And again, as I say, Russell, hopefully we'll have a committee getting involved around this. Happening down in Cork Cannabis Activist Hub. It needs to be up and running. So we will make it happen very soon. Yeah, I'd agree with you there as well, Marie. I would certainly prefer to have more control over what I'm putting into my body than to deal with the licensed drug dealers, as you're putting it, who prescribe for profit alone. Like, profit should never be really the motive driving the medicine. You can't trust people when profit is their motive. So I definitely agree with you there as well. Yeah, but that's kind of it, guys. Russell saying go for 3 hours. Not Russell, I'm gonna have to retire, man. We'll see what Alexis is doing there after we walk the dogs. Maybe we might get back on for some what's it called? Fucking It Takes Two. We might get back on there for another stream of the game, and we'll have a bit more crack if people want to pop in for the chat, the bants. Alexis loves the comments. She loves to see them come in. So we might see if we can get time for that there this evening. She's not here. They're away with their mum at the moment. So once they're back with me there again later this evening, we'll see if we're able to get a game going. But other than that, guys, I will start saying goodbye. GP, what's going on, GP? It's a long one today, GB. The news ended about an hour, 20 minutes ago. We've been just kind of having the crack, chatting her out here, looking at mushrooms and all of that fun stuff. Excuse me, sorry. We were showing off some of the amazing prizes as well that were there. So we were showing the offering of nutrients there for people to grow some of the best tomatoes ever. Or maybe they're into growing watermelons, or maybe they're into growing some cannabis. But yeah, we were showing off an amazing array of prizes that are all going to be available to win on Saturday. Yes. Nice. And yeah, definitely a long after show special. It was. I enjoyed it. These are always very enjoyable conversations, bits of banter, going back and forth, seeing what people are saying, getting people's views and stuff. But yeah, we put out a few PSAs there as well around the mushrooms that are containing psilocybin. And that you're not to pick them, you know what I mean? That they're dangerous and drugs are bad. And we don't do drugs here. Yes. No, definitely pick those mushrooms. Um, oh yes, Bob Marley's out there as well, and he's down in Wexford. What's going on, Bob? Hope you're well, Bob. Nice one for joining us here this evening. And nice one for the old respect coming in from Wexford. So right, guys, I will Russell saying guest star Rubble. Yeah, we'll have to get Rubble into the stream as well one of the days, maybe. Stick the GoPro onto him there while we're streaming and have that a little side piece. What's Rubble doing around the gaff? Right, nice. Monsieur Fudge Banter Train. Have a good evening. Yeah, guys, I'll definitely have to go. I'll get the dogs walked and enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. Nice one, everybody, for staying with me for so long. 2 hours, 20 minutes. Fair play. A long old stream, but I enjoyed every minute of it anyway with yourselves. I'll be back with more 420 news on Friday, guys. So do stay tuned for that one. Until then, stay blazed. Keep her lit. Much love. Peace. Up in a hand. Hey.